Hey, welcome back, guys. Thank you for staying with me on this journey. I know there isn't as many people sticking around watching these videos as it was when it first started with our quarantine distance learning. But yeah, for those of you that are actually watching this, thanks for sticking it out. Yesterday we did figure drawing. Today we're going to continue by doing the head. And in order to start that off, we are going to need a circle, and then we're going to need the jaw. So we're just going to put a nice rounded semi-oval below it, and ultimately it's going to look like an egg. Okay, this is a very generic start to a face. Not everyone's face is shaped like this. If you want to draw a particular person, then you're going to have to change it around so that it fits that person's traits. So this is just to get you guys started. If you guys want to start creating your own creatures or your own characters of your own stories, this is a good place to start. Okay, but typically the head is like an egg because we have our brains, which are located in the top of our skull here, and the lower pointy part is going to be the mandible, which comes down below the head and creates our jaw and our chin. Okay, so typically the housing for our brain is just in this upper part of our skull, which is the maxilla. And in order to do the face, I usually tell the students to draw a cross on the face. Now the line vertical is going to go right down the center, having the face in the left and a right hemisphere, and then you're going to have a line going across exactly the middle of the head. So if I were to measure the top and the bottom of the face, it would be the same distance. So now that we have our face separated into 4 different sections, we can use these lines to now put facial features on top of it. Okay, so before we get started with that, let's go ahead and put the neck. And the neck usually comes down right below the jaws here. So we're just going to draw a nice little curved line for the neck coming down so we can make a nice portrait picture. So now we have the head, now we have the neck. We can start adding the details inside the face. Okay, so this line down the middle is going to tell us where the nose is going to go, because our nose is in the center of our face, as well as our mouth is in the center of our face. Okay, and the line that's going across here is going to tell us where our eyes are. So the eyes is where we're going to start, and typically an eyeball kind of looks like an almond or a football. Okay, once again, these are generic shapes, so I'm not going to tell you that this is how everyone's eyeballs are shaped. There's a lot of people with different shaped eyes, so this is a generic idea. Whether it's a football, an almond shape, it's up to you. Okay, so it's going to be something like this, and it's going to start on the line, and you're going to give a small space between the line where the nose is going, small break, and then you're just going to go up and back down. You're not going to take your eye shape all the way to the end of your face. Okay, you're just going to do a small shape here, and ultimately what you should have is a football or almond shape sitting right on, directly on top of that line, just like this one here. Okay, all right, so I'm going to copy this on this side here. So giving that small space, we're going to go up and over like a hill, and then we're going to go down and up like a ditch. So we have our hill and we have our ditch, and we have 2 eyes located in the center of our face. This is where you want it. Now a lot of people, when they draw their faces, and I notice this a lot on the younger students, when they draw their face, they do the oval shape or the circle shape, and then they take their eyes and they put it up on their forehead. They put their eyes up on the forehead. Now, you don't want to do that. No matter how hard you want to do this, avoid it, okay? Because our eyes are not located on the top of our foreheads. There is the forehead. The eyes are in the center of the face. Even though you think that, wow, looks like this person's eyes are up here, try to avoid doing it. A lot of people don't realize that the head is not part of the hair. And when people's hair is coming down in front of their forehead like this, and it's blocking out their forehead, and that's all you see, people just imagine their eyes are on the top of the head because their hair is right there. That's not true, okay? The hair covers the head. It's not part of the head. So please do not put the eyes on the top of the forehead. Okay, now that we have that out of the way, let's do the nose. Oh wait. So basically the line that we're using for the eyes, once you have the eyes down, you can get rid of it because that's the only reason why we needed it, was just to make sure that we don't put our eyes on our foreheads. Okay, so what we can do is just get rid of that line. It's all done. Alright, so the nose. The nose is going to go, so from that line that we had for the eyes, the nose is going to go halfway between the jaw and the line between the eyes. So between the eyes and the jaw, it's about here. That's about halfway. So if I measured, it's about the space of my eraser. If I measured on the top and the bottom, it should be the same distance, okay? And then right below the nose, we're going to put another small line, and that is going to be the mouth, okay? Before we start adding any of these features, let's finish up with the eyes. Inside the almond shape, we're going to have circles, nice big circles. And these nice big circles are the iris, or the colored part of the eye. And typically, it's not always, like I said, there are some people in the world that this doesn't work with, but typically your iris, the colored part, is covered by a portion of your upper or lower or both lids. So if you have your eyeball drawn, okay, most times the eyeball or the iris is covered. A small portion of the iris is covered by the eyelid. Now, if you wanted to create an effect where your person is looking at a ghost or a werewolf or some kind of a incredible creature that's freaking them out, you can draw the iris directly in the middle of the eye, and that'll give the illusion that this person's eyes are super big and they're scared because they see some kind of a monster coming toward them, okay? This is what happens when you draw the circle in the center without either upper or lower eyelids blocking out the iris. So try to avoid this. Like I said, there might be some people out there that have this going on with them, but generically and on average, people's eyelids block out the iris. Alright, so now that we have the iris in the center of that, we can draw another circle, and that is going to be the pupil. And the pupil is what opens and closes to let light in so that you can see those beautiful colors that we see every day. Alright, so let's come down to the nose because the eyes are pretty much done. I know you're thinking, oh, Mr. D, what about the eyelashes or the eyebrows? I always tell you guys, save the hair for last. The hair is detail, save it for last. Let's just do this alien face really quick, and then we can add hair to it afterwards, okay? So let's do the nose. How do we draw a nose? Now, typically, what I like to say about the generic nose is you can draw a circle or an oval. I'll do an oval. If you draw an oval, and on either side of the oval, you put two smaller circles, like that, you're going to have what looks like, what does that look like? Oh, it looks like an alien to me. But anyway, what you're going to do with this oval and these two smaller circles is, let me zoom in so you can see it better. Here's my camera, doesn't want to focus anymore. Oh well. Okay, you can see it good enough. But anyway, what you're going to do is you're going to take your eraser and you're going to erase the line that's cutting through that small circle. And then you're going to, after you erase those lines that are cutting through your circle, you're going to erase the top of the oval, and that's going to be the bridge of the nose. Okay, so there we have a nose-like shape. So you have the wings, you have the tip, and then you have the bridge. And the bridge can come up and around the eyes, okay, if you want to. But that's a very generic nose. Like I said, not everybody has the same kind of nose. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw my oval for my nose. Looks like a koala bear. Yeah. And then I'm going to go ahead and put two smaller circles. Erase the lines that are connecting to the nose. To the wings, the circles on the side. And then you're going to go ahead and erase the top of the nose. Some people have more pointy noses in the front. You can go ahead and adjust anything you need to make them match what you are trying to go for. Like I said, I'm just teaching you the generic way. And be sure to draw a line coming up from the side of your nose to the bridge. Whoops. That'll work too. Alright, moving on to the lips, or should I say the mouth. I usually tell my older students, how do you spell mouth? What does it start with? M, right? And what's another letter that's in the word mouth? M-O-U-T-H. So I like to say U. And I tell people, put the M over a U, and there you have lips. Now, I know these look really tight, but here's the thing. I tell them, imagine you're grabbing the side of the lips and you're stretching them out. You're just kind of pulling them and elongating it. In that case, you're going to have to make your M much wider. And you have to make your U more shallow. So you're like pulling it, and here you have it pulled. And in order to make that line on the inside of the lip, you copy that same line from the top lip like that. Okay? Now, not everyone's lips are this way, okay? So here's my disclaimer. This is a generic lip. Some people don't have this part that comes down here. Sometimes it's just smooth across. Some people don't have the dip here that comes underneath the nose. Sometimes it's smooth across. That's how everybody is. Everyone's different. But for now, I'm teaching you the generic way, okay? So how do I know how far to make my mouth come out? Well, here's the hint. Right underneath your eyes, you're going to imagine this fake line coming down to either side like it's crying. And these tears are falling down the face. That's how wide your mouth is going to be. So if I stretch out my M, down to where my tears are falling, that's how wide my mouth is going to be. And then I just go ahead and put the U under my M, and there we have our mouth. Okay? Oh, I forgot to explain one more thing about the nose. How do I know how wide to make my nose? That's another thing. If you have a line coming from the very inside of both of your eyes, and you draw a line coming down like tears coming down the middle, that's how wide your nose is going to be. Okay? So from the inside of your eye here, the inside of your eye here coming down, this space in the middle is the same space as the tip of your nose. The middle of your eyes coming down, that's the same space where your mouth ends. Alright? So we already know the middle of the mouth is going to be in the middle line, but where does it go? How far out do I make it? Well, that's going to stop right underneath your eyes. Okay? So once you have these features done, you can take your eraser and get rid of all these lines that help you to find your positions and proportions. Just like this. Okay? And now we can move on to the ears. And the ears are fun. I think the ears are fun. But ultimately what we're going to do is we're going to draw like a letter C. And they're going to go on like parentheses on the side of the head. But how big do we make them? What is the appropriate size ear? I usually tell the kids, stick your thumb, stick it right underneath your lip. I mean, not your lip, but underneath your nose. So if you stick your thumb directly under your nose, and then you take your pointer finger, and you stick that right between your eyes. So if you have your pointer finger right between your eyes, and your thumb finger right under your nose, and you move your finger and your thumb without changing the size to the side of your head, you're going to notice that your ear is the same size as the bottom of your nose to the middle of your eye. So we already have the proportions. I'm sorry, not the middle of the eye, the top of the eye. So if you go from the top of your eye and you draw a line coming out, and then from the bottom of your nose you draw a line coming out, that's how big your ear is going to be. So from the base of your ears coming up to the top of your ears, that's the size. I can shape my ear better than that. Okay, so you can give it a try. Just take your thumb, stick it under your nose, take your finger, or like that, stick it above your eye. Just go across your forehead and your nose, and you'll notice that your ear is the same size, the same height. Okay. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and erase these lines. And then I'm going to go ahead and draw my ear, trying to keep them similar in shape as much as possible. Much as possible. Alright, so there we have our face. Okay, awesome. Very, very cool. You're probably wondering, where's the hair? Well, you can do the hair on your own. I know you guys know how to do hair. Should be no problem. Let's do a sideways face, shall we? So facing towards my head, I'm going to draw another circle. And then this is going to be interesting. So I'm going to use the size of this head to match up with the size of this head. Now, when you do a head from the side, you're going to draw your circle just like you would the top of your head, but instead of making the egg shape forward, we have to turn it. And what's interesting is the front of the face is basically flat. And when you get to the chin, the same height of this chin here, we're going to bring the chin up and back to the midpoint of our circle. Okay, so if I'm looking at the middle of my circle, that's about here. I'm just going to go ahead and bring back my line to about where the middle of the circle is. Okay, then I can go ahead and erase the line that's cutting through. Now this big compartment back here that you're looking at, this is the skull, and this is where your brain is being held. Your lucky little brain is being stored in the skull back here, and then your eyes are connected to your brain from your eye sockets. Your brain has the stem going down from your skull into your body, your nervous system, connected to all your limbs, legs, arms, fingers, whatever. Okay, so that's going to come out from here. So that's the reason why it's drawn this way. Now the same thing is going to happen. We're going to draw, well, we don't have to draw a line going down the middle of the face because we already have it here. This is going to be the front of the face, which is that vertical line that went down the middle. And then now we're going to draw a line going across the center, which is going to be about here. Okay, and this line is going to do two things. First thing it's going to do is it's going to tell us where the ear hole is. Because remember, our ears are the same as our above our eye and below our nose, and that small space in between is where our ears are going to go. Okay, so our eyes are going to go here, and they're set into the skull slightly. Some people's eyes are close to the front of their face. Some people have really deep set eyes. But I'm going to show you guys how to draw the eye on this line at a side angle. Alright, so typically when you draw an eye, it's an almond shape. And then you draw the circle in the middle, being covered by some of the lid. Okay? But let me show you what happens when you're looking at the side of the face. What happens is we're going to half the eyeball. I'm going to put a line right down the middle of my eye and watch. Now I'm going to erase the left side of my eye. And now it's going to show you what it looks like to have your eyeball in half. Also, this looks like the eyeball from the side. So this is going to go set in slightly. You're going to put your line and half your eyeball on top of that line. And then you're going to draw your iris and your, well, can't really see your pupil, but basically that's it. That's your generic eye, and that's half an eye looking to the side. Alright, so the nose is going to go between halfway for between the middle of the eye and the jaw, and that's going to be about here. So if I measure that, my eraser should be the judge, because that's what I used last time. Okay. So to do the nose from the side, you're going to draw the shape of the nose. So it depends on how far this nose is sticking out. Does it have a bridge? Does it have a no bridge? Is it a button nose, or is it a hook nose, or is it nose pointing upwards? These are all the things you got to look at when you're doing your nose. But what I like to do is from the center of the eye, I like to draw a small triangle sticking out and sloping downwards to just under the mark where the nose is supposed to be. And I'm going to use that mark where the nose is supposed to be to create my nostrils. And that nostril is just going to be a curved line and wings coming up. See that? Then I'm going to take my eraser and I'm going to erase the flat part of my face out. And there we have a nose. Okay, for the lips, it's going to be the same as the mouth. The mouth is going to be the same as the eyes. So if I draw a mouth like that, and then I put a line down the middle, cutting my lips in half, I'm going to be left with my mouth. Okay? And so what I'm going to do is right below, just like what we did with our mouth on this side, right below, that's where the line is. Okay? So the lips should be bumped on the top and the bottom lip. There should be a little bump. Okay? Now from my lip, we're going to have the angle up, and then it's going to come back. And then from the bottom, we're just going to have a little U. So it kind of looks like a heart. And then we're going to make the line in the middle of the mouth, just like that one there. And using our eraser, we're going to get rid of those lines cutting through the lips. Okay. Let's go ahead and do the chin, because this looks a little too flat. Now, typically what you can do on top of this face to make a chin is you can draw an upside down U, and that would give it the appearance of it sticking out. But for here, you have to actually draw a rounded line to make the chin. Okay, so you have to actually draw that bump there. And speaking of bump for the chin, we're also going to need a bump for the forehead, because not all of us have this really small forehead. We're just going to make a small protrusion for where the eyebrows go, coming up and over your forehead. And then from here, we gotta do the ears. And like I said, the ears are going to come from under the nose. So from under the nose, and then from above the eye, that's where the shape of our ear is going to go. And it's going to be like a C. This one's a backward C. And the ear starts at the jaw. So if you guys feel your ear, feel from the bottom of your ear, you can actually feel that that's where your jaw is. And then on the inside of the ear, we have all these details, interesting details, lines and shapes and curves on the inside. Okay. And then from the back of the head, we're just going to come in slightly and we're going to draw a line swooping back. And then from underneath the jaw, we're just going to go ahead and draw a line swooping down. Erase a few lines here and there. You can change your nose's shape if it's causing you some pain. Like that nose is a little too angular for me. I thought that was an eraser bit. My bad. Okay. Maybe perhaps it's the bridge. The bridge is too strong. It needs to come a little bit smoother. Alright. I'm calling out the eyes slightly because she looks scared. Alright, so once you guys have all the facial features done, eyes, nose, mouth, and ears, eyes, nose, mouth, and ears. Now from here, this is where you can actually start adding in the hair. The hair goes on the outside of the head, and you should draw the shape of the hair. And what I mean by shape of the hair is, you know how the eyebrows are. You don't want to just come over here and start just drawing a bunch of lines going over the eyebrow. What you want to do is you want to draw the shape of what the eyebrow looks like. Just a shape. Same thing here. You're going to draw the shape of the eyebrow like that. Does it have a beard? Does it have a mustache? Does it have hair growing out of his nose? I don't know. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and copy that same eyebrow on that side. Good. Around the chin slightly. Make it a little bit more prominent. If you want to add a couple of lines coming in underneath the cheekbones, you can. Okay. Just like that. And then whatever type of hair you want to make, I'm going to put, what should I do? Okay, I'm going to put the hair parted in the middle. And then the hair is going to come up, down, and over the ear. Like that. And I'm drawing the hair coming back over the head. Make sure it goes over the skull. And then it's going to come back down this way, over the shoulder. And then this one needs a shoulder too. Make this neck a little skinnier on this side. I think I made it a little too broad. There we go. That's better. Okay, so I'm going to copy the same kind of hairdo on this picture. So the hair is going to be up over the skull. It's coming over the eyebrow this way and going over the ear like that. And then it's going to fall back behind the shoulders. Like that. So here is the shape of the hair. Okay, I just drew the outline of the hair. If I wanted to put maybe a couple strands of hair falling in front of her eye, like that. I would do the same thing here, sticking out a little bit further from the face, telling me that that hair is blocking out some of the information, some of the detail. Okay? Now for the other side, I'm going to draw the hair coming up and over, blocking out some of the face on this side, and falling in front of her chest, which means that we have hair blocking out a lot of information. Okay, so put the hair here, comes up and over, which means on this side, we can't see the other side of the head, but we can definitely see the hair coming over her chest. So from here, we can draw some of her hair dropping in front of her, just like that. And remember, this is all just shapes, all right? Now that we have the shape of the hair, this is the part that's probably going to kill you, because all this hard work that we just did, we are going to erase whatever we can't see behind the hair. And you're probably thinking, Mr. D, why didn't I just start with drawing the hair first so I didn't have to draw all that forehead and all that back head and all that stuff that I had put on first? It says, well, here's the reason. Because if you didn't put those things, you wouldn't have known how far out to make your hair go, and it wouldn't look realistic, because you probably would have drew your face and then you probably would have made the hair really, really tiny, and it wouldn't have looked realistic. So the idea of putting the skull there was to make you sure that you drew your lines going far enough out. Alright, now check this out. So I'm just going to erase the details that are being blocked by the hair, which is all this ear, all this eyeball, all this shoulder and clavicle. Okay, we even have a little bit of information being dropped by the front hairs that are going there. Okay, so here we have side and front view of a head, face, and once you guys get to this point where you're doing the hair, use the side of your pencil. And you guys can just go ahead and scratch it in. But I mean, this is totally up to you if you want to do it. You guys color it with a marker. You guys can color it with colored pencils or crayons, whatever you want to do. But yeah, totally up to you how you want to do whatever you're doing. But yeah, I know we did a female face today. It can be male or female. It's totally up to you how you want to do it. Males usually have really broad features, but that, once again, that's generic, right? I'm just making a blanket statement that men have broader features. There's some women that have really broad features too, but it's up to the person that you're drawing. It's up to the style that you're trying to get from the drawing. Are you trying to make something that is dainty? Are you trying to make something that is more warrior-like? Are you trying to make something that is athletic? I mean, those are the decisions that you have to make, and those are the changes you have to make to your picture. So those are all totally up to you. But anyway, just go ahead and finish what you got to finish on your picture, and pretty much that's it. Sorry, I'm just kind of like totally obsessed with wanting to finish this now. You know, because I love working in black and white. I love color too, but black and white is the majority of where I like to spend my time, because it's the lines, the textures, it's the contrast that really excite me. I like to see the way things work with really drastic back and forth, push and pull. I guess it's kind of like a story, right? You need some kind of what do you call it? What am I thinking of? To move a story on, to make it interesting, you need to have some kind of it's gonna come to me like a, oh my gosh, anyway, some kind of danger, something that you your hero has to solve some kind of problem. I forgot my point, but anyway, long story short, this is how to do a head from the side, from the front. There are other the other directions to draw a head, like looking up, looking down, looking to the side. Basically what it comes down to is when you do your head, as long as you put a circle, you can kind of gauge where it's looking. If it's okay, so here's a trick. I'm going to draw a few heads here. Okay, if it's a head looking forward, you know you have to draw the line in the front, right? But if it's slightly looking to the side, what you want to do is you want to draw that line looking to that side. So this is going to be the front of the face, right? And then of course you have the eyes, which go to the ears. And that means you'll have to make your jaw looking to the side. Now this is a 3/4 view. This one is actually full left. This one actually full front. But this one is looking at an angle, okay? Just like when you have somebody looking down. If you're going to draw your face looking down, this is going to be the top of the head. This is where the top of the skull is, okay? And then when you draw your curved line to make your jaw, it's going to look like this. Because your person is now spending more time looking down at the ground. And so majority of the head that you're going to see is the top of the head, which is the hair. Okay, you have a person looking up. The up one is a little bit more involved, only because you have the neck, yeah? The neck is a part that can make things a lot more confusing. But basically, you're going to do the same thing again. You're going to draw a head, which is a circle, and then you're going to draw the line going across vertically for the nose and mouth, and then horizontally for the two eyes so that it's looking up. So for this one, he's looking into his chest. This one is looking to the side, and then this one is completely looking up to the sky. What have I done wrong? I'm so sorry. Okay. Neck comes down. So here are some quick sketches of how to draw heads that are in different positions, looking straight up, looking down, and looking across that way. Of course, if you want to draw a head that's turned away from you, it's the same as these, same respect, okay? You're still doing that whole jaw head thing, but now the neck is going to come from behind, and all of this is going to be hair, and you're going to see very little bit of the front of the face. So anyway, those are just some quick looks at how the head is going to be. Some people, when they draw their heads, they put these big circles on the side to show an easier way to find the angle. Those could help you a lot, but we're not really going to get into it. So that's how we draw our heads. Hope you guys enjoyed today's Art at Home. Next week, we're going to start with simple animation, and then by the end of the week, we'll be working, well, every day during next week, it'll be something new that deals with animation, okay? So hope you guys come back for that. Please continue viewing. Just use this information, help you to produce artwork that you are looking to create, okay? All right, so have a great day. I'll see you guys next time.